Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody! All right, here we go again. We have some great working royals and family members out doing their thing. And then we're going to turn our attention. There's a lot going on with Archewell. Very interesting. Let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go. All right, before we jump into the royal stuff, I have to address something. This channel, Mission Wood, I gave a shout out to the other day. And the reason I gave a shout out to them was, number one, this guy loves coffee. Well, I happen to love coffee. And number two, he makes beautiful furniture with his hands, which is something I'll never be able to do. But he makes it look easy. And no, you guys, not every channel that I give a shout out to is going to have something to do with the royals. If you're like me and you go on YouTube and you like to veg every now and then, just go watch this guy's stuff while you're vegging. You'll see what I'm talking about. He makes it seem like I can do it. All right, now let's go. We're going to start off this morning with an open letter written by the Princess of Wales ahead of the launch of the new campaign, which is designed to raise awareness of the critical importance of early childhood. It's an interesting read. Feel free to freeze the screen, read it, and then we'll move on. Moving on, we have Prince William, who went and had a surprise appearance at a memorial service at a town called Snettish. Apparently in 1953, there was a flood that took a lot of lives. Now, this memorial took place at St. Mary's Church, where William went and he had coffee and cake and talked with the locals. Love it. Prince William was greeted very warmly, and you should know that his visit was 70 years after the Queen and Philip went and toured the area when the disaster immediately happened. All right, moving on. Next up this morning, King Charles, his sister, the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, was seen walking to St. Mary Magdalene's Church in Sandringham Estate this morning. And I was very happy to see Lady Susan Hussey there, as you can see. That I think, that just goes to show the family hasn't disowned her. They haven't thrown her away like a lot of people suggested. Okay, so now on the way back, of course, you had well-wishers. As you can see, Charles got a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Also in this picture, you can see Lady Hussey also got some beautiful flowers. And somebody gave Princess Anne a calendar of Norfolk. Very nice. I was quite happy to see this morning. All right, moving on. Next up, we have Zara Tyndale. She was attending the annual festival trial days, let me see if I say this right, at the Cheltenham Racecourse. Cheltenham. Okay. She looked lovely. She also looks extremely, refreshed after her skiing trip with her husband and her friends. And we all know how much she loves horses and riding horses. I'm glad that she's out and about doing the things that she likes to do. By the way, there's a big brouhaha over her headband because the headband was $400. All right, moving on. All right, next up, I just had to bring this up. It's a new law in the EU. This law classifies insects as food. It's called Acheta domesticus, most commonly known as crickets, to be used in supermarket food if they are frozen, dried, or pulverized. Other insects that are going to be included apparently are beetles and mealworms, which were the first insects to be approved by the EU for mass consumption. Now, companies must apply for approval to use the critters in their products, apparently, and there are 8 different insects that can be used, and they can be used in dozens of commonly eaten food: pizza, pasta, chocolate, bread, soup. Now, people are raising concerns that this could cause consumers to have reactions if they're allergic to, dust mites, mollusks, crustaceans, which is true. Now, the EU Commission said, and I'm quoting, "The consumption of insects contributes positively to the environment and the health and livelihoods. And that, quote, insects are highly nutritious and healthy food sources with high fat, protein, vitamins, fiber, and mineral content. Therefore, they are an alternative protein source, facilitating the shift towards healthy and sustainable diets. Now, it's been reported that the food will say Aceta domesticus, so you'll know before you buy it what's in it. Yeah, I will not be eating that. Next up, it's being reported that Princess Anne and Prince Edward might be very prominent at the coronation for several reasons. Number one, they're both working royals. They've been working royals for years, and they might have a part to play in terms of paying homage. People are saying that, yeah, they truly believe that they're going to be able to play a big part because, after all, the Duke of Kent, who's really old, and the Duke of Gloucester, and all these people who cannot bend down and kiss the monarch's cheek and say, you know, we want part of this, that's not going to happen. So, yeah, I think they'll be given a bigger role. All right, moving on. Now, I told you guys that Andrew has basically had his apartments removed from him, and everybody went, oh, there's renovations at the palace, and that's why they were removed. Now, I understand that there's renovations, but I believe that when the renovations are over, Andrew will not be getting those apartments back. That was the point I was trying to make. And that is because Virginia Giuffre has signed a deal, here it is a year later, to release a memoir which could hit against the royal family even more. Now, of course, the articles are coming out saying that there's proof that photo with Andrew is not a fake. They're talking about a picture on the back of the picture that's a timestamp. There's a problem with this article. That picture was lost. Virginia Giuffre herself said that she lost the photo. So how can you have a picture with a timestamp on the back of the photo when the original is not available? It was lost. And it was taken with one of these little tiny Kodak cameras. Yeah, there's something just not right about this whole thing. Now, this is all coming up again, you guys, because supposedly Prince Andrew was given evidence against the claim that Virginia Giuffre and him had, relations in this bathtub. Miss Giuffre claims in her memoir, which is still unpublished, that there was a beige marble-tiled floor with a porcelain Victorian-style bathtub in the middle of the room. So to start with, Gigelle's family did a photograph with two acquaintances lying fully clothed in this cramped bathtub, and it's supposed to show, first of all, that it was too small for any of the stuff that she said happened. Well, the other thing that I noticed is that tub, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, that tub does not appear to be sitting in the middle of a room. It's against a wall. I don't see any of the beige tile flooring that the woman was talking about. And this is just some weird attempt to try to clear Andrew. I don't know what this is about. But of course, since the coronation is coming up, this is just making, Charles cringe. Why can't Andrew wait until after the coronation? Now, other people are saying that Andrew should be fighting back. I think he should too, just not right now. This particular article points out that Andrew comes across as arrogant and churlish, dim and self-entitled, just like his nephew. Maybe it's like the spare, which Andrew was until William was born. All right, now we're going to move on. The reports are coming out that King Charles is in a talks for a bombshell interview to hit back at Harry. Now, this just goes to show you the clickbait stuff, because here is what actually is happening, ladies and gentlemen. The king is giving an interview about his coronation. It's all about the coronation, but apparently people are going to try to throw in a few questions about Harry to see if they can get the king to speak. I think the king is going to skirt right over those questions. He is not going to, quote unquote, tell his side of the story. I don't know why anybody would even believe that. The articles are coming out. Oh, Charles wants Harry at the coronation, and he got the Archbishop of Canterbury to step in and fix things. None of that is true, people. None of that is true. Everybody knows that Harry will probably come and stage something in order to upscale his dad. People aren't stupid. Now, at the same time, on Twitter, sources are saying that Harry's not going to go to London because things are so hostile, even though he's the reason they're hostile. He's adamant he wants an apology. He wants to make amends, but he's not going to do it on their terms. He wants the royals, believe it or not, to come to California where they can sit around a negotiating table and hash out a public statement that puts the mess behind them. That's not going to happen. I have to tell you guys, I'm telling you, he's not going to the coronation. He's not going to go. And there's not going to be a peace. And eventually Harry and Meghan are going to run out of stories because they've told the same story for years now. And I think it's pretty much over for them. I mean, you can't blame them for thinking that. All right, moving on. They're saying that Charles has to suck it up and carry on. That, Harry's going to run out of ammunition. He's already running out of ammunition. Did you guys read that book? He was jealous because William's bedroom was bigger. He had an extra sausage on his plate. Like, give me a break. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Prince Harry's book dropped 105% in sales in the second week. Now, what does that tell you? Let me tell you what that says. A lot of the bookstores, a lot of the numbers are based on the bookstores pre-ordering. So these stores ordered huge amounts of books, which are now sitting there and nobody is buying them. We've also heard that Penguin Random House, if you ordered a book, if you actually ordered one, they didn't send you one, they sent you two. This is an old trick to inflate the numbers. Now, these bookstores that are sitting on these books that are priced at half off and they can't get rid of them, very simply, I honestly think they're going to start returning them to Penguin Random House since they haven't been signed or anything. And Penguin Random House has to give them back money. Yep, I think you're going to see the numbers are going to change quickly. Moving on, the stories are coming out why Meghan hasn't been at Harry's side, which I'm looking at these photos where she's always touching him. I bet he's probably happy to have her claws off. Word is that she may have had a plastic surgery procedure, some sort of surgical procedure, and that's common in Hollywood, and then they disappear for a while. I guess it'll be interesting when she reappears to see if it is true. All right, moving on, we have another Archewell issue. Everybody is jumping ship at Archewell. Their brand is not doing well. Have you guys noticed that every employee they've had has left within a year and a half? They haven't been able to retain anybody over 2 years. Now, I'm not talking about the staff in the UK. I'm not talking about the nannies. I'm talking about Archewell staff. Farrah Taylor, she was the marketing campaign leader for Harry and Meghan, the Markle podcast Archetypes, and Harry's memoir, Despair. She's going to be, quote unquote, transitioning out of her role at the end of the year, and the announcement is that she will not be replaced. Of course, they put out nice content. She played a critical role in helping tell our stories. We remain hugely grateful for their support. And as they now look forward, but no reason giving why the woman is leaving. Then you have Ben Browning, who is an Oscar-winning producer, and he oversaw the Netflix documentary, and his deal, which he was the head of internal content, was set to expire. He has a contract, but they're not renewing it. Same as the other lady, without anybody explaining why they're not renewing these contracts. And again, they said something very nice about him and good luck to him and blah, blah, blah. You have Rebecca Sananes, who quit as head of audio after 18 months. She was hired to produce the Spotify podcast Archetypes, but was replaced now by a different person, Serena Reagan. Next up, Mandana Dayani. She stepped down as president. She was over the whole thing. And a spokesman said that Harry and Meghan is going to take the full lead of their company. But this woman was she's an attorney, she's an activist, she's the one who came up with the Let's Vote. Maybe she just got sick and tired of Harry and Meghan taking credit for all of her work. You had Tanya Holness, who oversaw their PR on both sides of the Atlantic in March of last year, and apparently they leaned on her to do everything, and she said she wanted out after finding herself, quote, having to fulfill a great many functions for the couple. So basically, she saw what was going on, she quit. You have Catherine St. Laurent. She lasted a year, and then she stepped down to quote unquote take on an advisory role. I think that's just a nice way of saying she transitioned out. Have you guys ever noticed that when everybody's leaving, they left on good terms, their contract ended, they're moving into an advisory role instead of they worked for them for under 2 years and ran. And now it's coming out that their brand is suffering. I don't get it. They came up with this brand. They said they were going to produce uplifting and fabulous content. And here we are 2.5 years later. They produced one documentary that made them a laughingstock and an archetypes podcast that I can almost guarantee will not be renewed. Now, as they're getting rid of people, nobody's lasted over 2 years. They have now made Miranda Barbot Director of Global Communications and Press Secretary, and Maren Thompson is Manager of Communications. Also, they just hired somebody named Serena Regan as Head of Podcasts and Shauna Knepp as Co-Executive Director of the philanthropic arm, the Archewell Foundation. Very interesting. Now, one of my followers on Twitter posted this, that she saw Squatty posting this, and this supposedly is a list of their accomplishments. Now, this is really small, so let me help you out. It puts things like the Intrepid Award, the awards on the Intrepid, the ship, where Harry handed out an award for somebody else. It wasn't his award. Then you have the NAACP, where they went and they arranged to collect an award so they could give an award. The Ripple of Hope Award, where they collected awards for racial abuse from the family that they then turned around and claimed didn't happen. The point is, this entire list is them running around collecting awards that they really didn't earn. What have they done? That's my question. What have they done to make the world a better place? Except scream victim from the rooftops from every single thing. I could run around and collect awards. That doesn't mean I've helped the world. So with this, everybody wants Harry and Meghan to go home. They don't provide anything for the United States. They don't do anything for the United States. As a matter of fact, they're going to end up, the United States, we have our own problems with money and homelessness and all of this. It's horrible. And yet they want the United States taxpayer to pay for their security. Yeah, go home. All right, I just had to bring this up. Sneaky put this up on Twitter, pointing out that the Sussex squad have been piling on horrible tweets about the fact that Catherine and William went to visit a food bank. And Richard Palmer even wrote, I'm not quite sure why they're upset that Catherine and William went to a food bank. I don't think that they understand that the reason they go is to bring attention to the food bank so that people can donate. Well, one of the squaddies wrote this. She goes, I don't understand why people can't understand that we would direct hate at them for their tone-deaf imagery. That's what she said. So now we know, ladies and gentlemen, when Harry went to a food bank, it was tone-deaf imagery. How dare he go to a food bank dressed like that? Yeah, I mean, come on, people. At the same time, this was put up because the squad wants to justify what Meghan did when she went to Uvalde. Do you guys remember that? She hopped on a private jet. She walked around looking upset. She brought her own camera crew because she wanted to make sure the pictures were just so. She made a big production about it. I mean, not one other celebrity in the world did that because they knew better than to do that. You don't use the deaths of children for your own PR, but she did. And flying there on a private jet, that's another reason why people are upset with her. They said she donated blood. She did not donate blood. The food, the delicious food that she brought for people who were donating blood were bags of chips that you can get for $10 at Costco. She spent more on her private jet than she did helping the people of Uvalde. It was a shameless stunt, and the world knew it. Now, Genevieve on Twitter put up a list because people are asking from a lot of her supporters, what has she done for you to dislike her? What has she done? Other than, of course, accuse all of us of being closet racists. And there was a list. Now, there were a lot of things on the list that I don't agree with. She wore baggy clothes. I don't hate her because she wore baggy clothes or whatever. I, however, made my own list out of that list, I highlighted the things that really upset me. So let's take a look at those. For me, it was the fact that she wouldn't curtsy to the Queen after the marriage, that she wouldn't go visit the Queen at Balmoral, that she announced her pregnancy at Eugenie's wedding, that she cleared out Wimbledon for her and her friends, that she lied and said that she had nothing to do with finding freedom. She essentially committed perjury. The fact that she advocates for climate change while she and Harry fly everywhere in private jets, and of course the treatment of her staff members. As I've stated before, nobody stays there more than 2 years, and there's an issue. All right, you guys, now I'm going to cover one quick thing with you. When you hit the subscribe button on my channel, there's a notice above it. You can hit the button for all notifications. If you don't hit that button, you're going to miss my lives. People keep writing to me saying, oh, I didn't get your live. I didn't get a notification. You didn't get a notification because you didn't hit the button for all. So you really need to do that if you want to catch me on my lives. That's just the way it's going to be, okay? Don't forget to leave those comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you've already hit it, double check, make sure you're still subscribed. Go up into the description box, and there you will find the links to my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon. We are continuing on with our fundraiser. We have 3 more days, and that will give you guys the grand total, okay? As always, you guys, have a great day.